What's up, everybody? I am back with a new movie spoiler review, and this one has been in the tank for a while. The 1984 film Footloose, that I think really put Kevin Bacon on the map as a absolute superstar. And did not realize how athletic this guy really was. I know he can dance, but my God, this dude's freaking the gymnast in this freaking film. This dude's like, Kevin Bacon's amazing. Yeah, man. I just gotta point that out. I was like, did not expect any of that stuff. But this dude danced his ass off in this movie. This is like a dance type of film. And of course, he got the role after he auditioned for the screen test, but initially they wanted Tom Cruise and Rob Lowe, but Tom Cruise was already involved with another project, and Rob Lowe had an injury, so he couldn't do it. So they went with Kevin Bacon after they was impressed with his screen test. So yeah, funny how certain things work. So this is directed by Herbert Ross. Stars Kevin Bacon as Ren McCormick, Laurie Singer as Ariel Moore, John Lithgow as Reverend Shaw Moore, Diane Weiss as V Moore, Chris Penn as Willard, a very young Sarah Jessica Parker as Rusty. So yeah, man, this is a very young cast that quite a few will become big names, obviously. Of course, Diane Weiss and John Lithgow already had, by this point, made a good name for themselves. But yeah, it's funny looking back on these old films and see these, early careers of certain stars that we know are big names now. Anyway, I want to check out the original trailer of Footloose, and I can get to the main crux of the story.
He's the new kid in town, and the music's on his side.
Let's dance!
Footloose.
Talking about a perfect theme song for I don't know if they actually made this specific song just for this film, or they just got the idea from a particular song and it liked the title and it's utilized the name.
Paramount Pictures presents Footloose.
Kick off your Sunday shoes up your ass. Matter of fact, when Kevin Bacon says jump back, he says it like it's supposed to be some kind of catchphrase that supposed to cement something. I don't know, because he only said it once, but I don't know, because I remember one of my favorite American Dad scenes is when Roger parodied Footloose and he used the line "jump back," and when I'm hearing it in context of the actual film, I'm thinking it's supposed to be like a catchphrase Ren use all the time, and it kind of picks up steam in pop culture. But no, he only used it once, and I'm thinking like, man, that's kind of like Lesser. It's like, I don't know. I kind of figured it'd be like a well-known catchphrase. But anyway, the premise is it's kind of like it was typical of the '80s because you look at something like Jaws, it's not all that freaking different. But Ren and his mom, after the father deserted them, moved to buttfuck nowhere, Utah, whatever it is. I don't even care the name of the actual town, but a small town in Utah during the senior year, moving from Chicago and moving in with some relatives. He meets up with the town reverend, who's I guess practically the freaking mayor, because everybody looks to this guy as like the all-seeing, like wise counsel that I guess helps dictate the laws of this town. It's like I guess there's no freaking mayor, but whatever. But it's soon discovered that because of a horrific accident where a group of kids, including Ariel's older brother and Shaw's son, got drunk and partying, end up in like a drunken car wreck, which became such a horrific scene that, and of course, the father being definitely beside himself and over flooded with emotions, decide, okay, we're just gonna ban dancing, because apparently that just leads to horrific accidents, because people with dancing leads to sex, drinking, rock and roll. It's very playing on like the fear mongering of the 80s, where people thought rock and roll is the devil kind of situation. Smoking weed leads to it's the devil's lettuce kind of crap. It was that paranoia of the age. So much so that the writer smartly kind of pushed it to this like ridiculousness, where it's like, okay, like your fear is taken to this extreme where people just cannot cut loose at all. Everybody's walking around with like on eggshells, stick up their ass, and they just can't like truly enjoy themselves where they want to, especially in their youth, all because of this tragedy that causes this widespread fear. So Ren meets up with Witty, whoever Chris Penn's character is. Chris Penn, who's the younger brother of Sean Penn. And Ariel was kind of a wild name. You name your kid after, well, I guess at the time, The Little Mermaid wasn't a thing then. So, yeah, because The Little Mermaid would be like several years in the future. I think 88, 89, something like that. So, yeah, I guess, even though there's a Danish story so long since been a thing, but really wasn't a popular character, or wasn't a well-known character until the film. So by and large, I guess it would be considered original of a name, but whatever. So Ren is pretty much like the talk of the town, like new handsome dude from the big city, and of course Ariel is kind of infatuated with him, even though she's with this kind of shithead dude who turns out like just be like, it's just town bully, I guess. Uh, Nobody likes his, expressive city slicker ways. So the bully ends up challenging him to like a playing chicken with tractors, and thanks to Ren's shoelace getting caught on the pedals, he ended up winning the game of chicken because the dude, jumped out first. But more and more people are like, or at least mostly the adults, and maybe their children by extension, are giving Ren a lot of flack because he like to be able to be expressive. He wanted like pretty much just enjoying himself, but it doesn't. The restriction just doesn't stop with dancing. It's almost damn near anything else that shows kind of liveliness. Certain music just can't be enjoyed because they think it could lead to. It's gotten to the point where he just gotta like just dance off because he's so frustrated. He just gotta dance because I guess it's kind of like his workout, which is kind of is. Dancing is essentially like a workout too. And like you see this dude dancing his ass off. Like Kevin Bacon can freaking move. Now, I disagree with Star-Lord talking about this is the greatest movie ever. And it's like, it's a good movie. But man, he like the way that character hyped up, probably mostly because it's James Gunn. The way like the character hyped up Footloose, it's like, man, it's very like, yeah. It's like, why are you treating it like it's freaking Godfather? It's a good movie, but not like the greatest movie ever. I wouldn't even go that far. But mostly, I think, a lot of people's performance in this movie is very good. But Kevin Bacon really sold this movie. Like, without him, this movie probably wouldn't have been as good. Of course, then again, if they managed to get Rob Lowe or Tom Cruise, it'll be a different film, but it'll probably still be just as good. But I don't know. I think Kevin Bacon was the X factor this movie really needed to cement itself as one of the best movies in cinematic history. So he hangs out with Ariel, who clearly is having her little rebellious moment because her and her father, who used to be close, not as close anymore because the loss of the son and her brother, really did some damage, and they clearly have not grieved properly, especially not together, to reconnect. And that's why she's, dating the town bad boy, staying out so late, not, communicating with each other, all this stuff that, is being like overlooked and not talked about. So Ren decided to formulate some kind of town meeting where he can try to convince the little council that includes the Reverend into allowing them to have their prom and to be able to dance and do everything that was been restricting them for so long. All the while trying to teach his best friend how to dance because he doesn't know how to dance, but then he ended up, showing him how to do it. I'm not a dancer myself. Rarely actually get out there on the dance floor, but I suck at dancing. Never, I will not be like the first one out there to get jiggy with it. Like, don't even look at my way. That's just me. But it's a nice little montage of teaching them how to dance. But then, like, things really, like, get hectic for Ren's family because some group of idiots, pretty sure it was, like, the bully, who threw a rock through the window where his little cousins were sleeping. And, of course, his shit had, like, uncle, I believe, giving him crap because, he lived in this town, so he followed all the rules and whatever the reverend says. So he wasn't really giving that much support. But his mom was giving support, despite the fact that what Ren was doing caused her to lose her job. But she doesn't really care because she understands how important this is to her son and ridiculous these very restrictive rules are, which I kind of wish there was more with the mom talking with, I'm assuming it was her brother, and the other family members. Like, this is like a big deal, and he needs our support because I'm not sure how you guys have. Because I wish it was something, an extra scene for this, where it's just more time with the mom, because we don't get much with the mom at all, and her interaction with the other family members, given what Ren is trying to do, because that would have really cemented the importance of what he's trying to do. And she should have really been chastising the uncle. It's like, this is your nephew. Like, I don't understand how you can live like this, where it seems like, as Ren put it, this town had like a chokehold, like, on everybody. So much so that, you are berating your nephew for wanting to have like a dance. And like, everybody in this town, for the most part, is gripped by fear, aside from maybe some of the kids, the teenagers, high schoolers, where they have to go to the local malt shop or whatever to be able to just dance and party, just because, no human being wants to be so restricted to the point where any, like, little enjoyment cause some big upheaval. It's being able to be expressive. It's kind of like restricting what people are allowed to say. That's not, humanity functions. Because eventually there will be pushback, violently more than likely, if there's not too much restrictions imposed on humans. I mean, of course we got laws, but sometimes laws can go too far in one direction. It's like, there's got to be a happy medium where it doesn't infringe on personal responsibility or expressiveness. That's like how we got, like, freedom of speech, for example. Of course, there's caveats to that, but by and large, in the grand scheme of things, people are allowed to say what they need to say, what they want to say. Because, there shouldn't be no laws telling, like, hey, you can't say this group of words. Now, there's, like I said, caveats. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater, and you can't say certain slurs. I mean, you can, but there are consequences to that. So you can't tell how people how they should respond to what you say, but they're allowed to say it. And you should, allow them, like, the freedom and fight for their rights to say whatever dumb thing they need to come out their freaking mouth. or even if it's not dumb, they have an opinion, they have freedom of choice, all that stuff. They should be able to freely express. That's one of like my biggest issues with a lot of colleges nowadays. Is such liberal feminist silos where anybody with opposing views doesn't necessarily need to be Republican, but just any opposing views that go against the woke, liberal, super liberal, I should say, opinions, little echo chambers. Oh, let's run them out of these colleges. It's like Footloose or Jaws. It's like, it's like, well, no, not Jaws, but it's just like Footloose, where you just like, you telling these people what they can and cannot say. These teachers can and cannot say, all because there's like fragile little snowflakes, it's kind of took over, and you can't even say the word retarded. Well, somebody is, in a class, getting their fragile little egos infringed upon, and they go running anonymously to the dean and try to get a teacher fired because they can't handle a word that, in the grand scheme of things, isn't going to hurt you. It's like, I'm sorry that you have a mentally ill cousin or whatever, or a relative, but this person isn't like attacking them as a person. You don't understand nuance or context. Footloose, the Reverend, everybody else, who pretty much live in this town doesn't understand the context and nuance. I understand the tragedy that happened with those kids who went out partying. That's just their ignorant irresponsibility that caused it, not the dancing or even the drinking. It's just like, they was irresponsible. They shouldn't have been drinking and driving. You're not going to ban cars you didn't ban cars clearly in your town, because that, like the dancing, was equal to the tragedy. Anyway, there's so many parallels with Footloose and what's going on nowadays. It's kind of like eerie. But you would think it would be like the conservatives or Republicans that would be like super uptight ones. But lo and behold, nowadays, it's like usually the Democrats, or just, I should say, the liberal people, are the super uptight ones that are, telling, people they can't say because, oh, my feelings got hurt. So, I didn't realize how violent this movie can get, where the boyfriend, or the bully, I should say, got jealous because he's not stupid. She sees the way Ariel sees. He sees the way Ariel is looking at Ren. He's not liking it. They get into a physical altercation, and he, smacks her around. She goes to Ren to help cover everything up, and they grew closer together. That kind of stuff. He goes, finally in front of the council during this meeting, and he pulls up scriptures, thanks to the help of Ariel, showcasing that since y'all are a very religious town, there's plenty of examples in the Bible of people expressing themselves through dance, and it's not like looked at upon as evil. So it was a pretty good scene, but I was kind of expected this big rousing speech, something like a Captain America level speech, but it was just like a very bottom of the barrel kind of speech that, like, man, it wasn't very rousing type of thing that I was kind of hoping for. But he made his point. The next day when he went off to work, and the boss he's cool with told him straight up, yeah, don't know about the Reverend, but everybody else pretty much had their minds made up before you even walked in there. So he suggested that they should still do the dance for the prom on the outskirts of the town, which is like what 30 miles away or something like that. He said. Uh, uh, the Reverend ultimately ended up changing his mind a bit. He has a heart to heart with Ren, who asked his daughter, asked him to if he can take his daughter out to the prom. Of course, he's okay with it. But after this kind of back and forth between her and him at the church, his assistant comes getting him when some of the townspeople will start burning books that they deem as inappropriate. And of course, Reverend Shaw is like, this is like immoral. This is, the devil's not in these books. This is in your hearts right now. Go home, all of you. And I think this was the turning point for him when he comes to realize what they're doing to these books is what he's been doing to dance. He's pretty much burning dancing in a way. And he realized, like, at least that's what I'm thinking. It wasn't really telegraphed, but you can infer through the writing and the way it's acted. Where it's like, there's some parallels here. It's like, yeah, certain things cannot be restricted. Books, writing, their freedom of expression, no matter if you agree with the material or not. There's plenty of like material like I don't really agree with in terms of books, but this people who like Minecraft clearly not something like I will actively go out my way to read or read to others, but it's expression. No matter you don't, it doesn't matter how much I don't agree with the author or how most people don't agree with the author. Had every right to write it, and in my personal opinion, shouldn't really be banned. Is there, to be read if you so choose to. Don't get confused or question why people giving you the side eye if you check it out. But you have a right to read it, and you have a right to be in a library. Same thing with certain books. It's like talking about, like little kids section. Oh, Timmy has two mommies kind of thing. Or, David and how he's non-binary. I don't personally agree something like this should be in a kids section. But that author have a right to write it. I just don't think it'd probably be something good for children. But you can definitely write it for somebody a little bit older, and that way you can still have it. Because I'm not going to, disagree. I'm not going to be against anybody writing whatever they want to write about. It's freedom of expression. Dancing, freedom of expression. Because one of the things that like I wholeheartedly agree with in terms of free will. That is one of the greatest things God has bestowed upon humanity: freedom of choice. And no matter what it is, it needs to be honored. So like it's like it coincides with expression. And like, man, it's actually a deep movie in a way. The Reverend gave his blessing of having like this, dance, and he's praying for everybody to like just be safe. So of course, all the kids are excited, they're glad, and everybody shows up after Ren and his friend like beat up the bullies. They're like, let's dance, and then everybody just start footloosing all over the place, and that's where the movie ends. So yeah, it was a pretty dang good movie. Not something I would like rewatch, but it's, never watched the film in full context before, so I figured why the hell not, let's see what all the hubbub is about, so yeah, not exactly one of my favorite Kevin Bacon films, but it was a pretty dang good Kevin Bacon film. Of course, they made a remake of Footloose in 2011. Didn't do so hot. They tried to get Kevin Bacon to reprise a role or come in as a cameo, but he didn't care for the role they suggested to him, so he decided not to do it altogether. So, if you look it up, you wouldn't be able to blame him, because they changed some stuff up for like the new Ren. The new one, the father not only deserted him, but his mom died of leukemia, and they supposed to have they wanted Kevin Bacon to play as the deadbeat dad, and he didn't care for that. Rightly so, because why would you want this beloved character or this actor reprising a role in a movie that he put on the freaking map, and you put him as a deadbeat? It's kind of messed up. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Footloose. Have you seen it in a while? And definitely encourage you guys to check it out. See, what your thoughts are. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. I got a couple of movies I had in mind I want to review next week, because I want to get some decent stuff out before the holiday starts rolling around, and I start focusing on Halloween movie month and Thanksgiving movie month and the Christmas movie month, because that will definitely take up the bulk of my time. So anyway, leave a comment below, and I'll see you all next time.